Yes, you read the title right. Don't buy TicWatch Pro. Here are 4 reasons that you might want to consider before you buy any Android smartwatch. Coming up. If you remember, yeah, of course you remember, I thought that my Amazfit Pace died. So that's the main reason that I decided to buy the TicWatch Pro as a rebound. Of course, this has very good features and I did a separate video about it. But it's not ideal. So here are 4 things that I didn't really like about the TicWatch Pro, and you might also want to consider these things before you buy, and please don't do the same mistake that I did. First thing is the battery life. I think that's common to almost all the Android smartwatches. The best you can get is somewhere around 2 or 3 days. Some manufacturers claim that they can provide around 1 week or even 2 weeks, which this market as 30-day battery life. But then eventually you realize it's only when in this screen, which only shows the time and nothing else. If you use the smart features, it can only last up to 2 days, and if you do sport activities or activity tracking, it can go up to 1 day, which is really bad. There are non-Android smartwatches such as the Amazfit series, which can give you more than 1 week or even 2 weeks of battery with all the activity tracking. So I don't know what's wrong with Android Wear, to be honest. Many people claim the reason behind the low battery life is the processor, because it uses around 4 or 5 years old an architecture, and the new Fossil Gen 5 has the latest architecture, but still it has only 2 days. So I think it's still not the processor architecture that's the problem. Could be the Wear OS, because the Amazfit series doesn't use Android Wear OS, have even lesser battery capacity, but last way longer than any Android smartwatch. Of course, the Amazfit series and also the Fitbit are not smartwatches, they are more like activity trackers. So that's why they last longer, because they don't use Android, they have their custom OSs in there. But almost all the Android Wear watches, regardless of how many hardware upgrades they had, still it can't last 2 days. So bad. Disappointed. The second thing that I didn't like, and it bugged me a lot, is the slowness. Yes, this had the latest features or the latest specification by the time it got released, except for the CPU, but still it had 1 GB RAM and the latest Wear OS, but still it was so slow. Whenever I tap the home button, go through the applications, it takes ages. Whenever I want to go inside an application, it takes around 5 to 6 seconds and I have to wait. For example, if I'm going on a run and I had to track, because it doesn't do automatic tracking, I still have to wait around 10 seconds until the activities are initialized, which was so bad. And also, whenever I get a notification, it takes a lot of time. Whenever I flip the wrist, it takes some time to show the notification, which was also bad. And whenever I'm replying, eventually the reply mechanism also gets slower. Yes, the first few days it was super smooth, but you know Android, right? It gets slower eventually. This has 1 GB RAM, same as the latest Fossil Gen 5 watch. People claim that it's faster, but I'm just waiting for them to review after 1 month of usage how slow it can get. Just like this one. I'm usually someone who wears my smartwatch or my active tracker all day long, because I would like to keep track of all my activities, my walking, if I do sports, and my sleeping, especially sleep, because sometimes I get lack of sleep and I have to make sure that I have a better sleep by probably meditating or doing some exercise. So that's very important. The third thing that I hated most about this watch is it's so uncomfortable for wearing. I usually wear my smartwatch all day long, but I have to remove this very frequently than I expected due to many reasons. For example, this is very bulky, it's very heavy compared to other smartwatches that I've been wearing, and also it has a metal back. If you remember, it's supposed to be comfortable, and in the first impression I said it's comfortable. After wearing for a couple of weeks, it's not the case. My skin started itching and it created even a small rash. I think the combination of metal and sweat has to do with it, some chemical reaction or something. So I couldn't wear it for a long time, so I found myself removing the watch once in a while and just to feel comfortable. So what's the point if I can't wear it for a long time, even during the day for straight 8 hours? That's the whole point of wearing a watch, not just a smartwatch, but a watch, normal day watch. And also one another thing is the silicone strap. Yes, it has leather strap on front, but in the back it has a silicone strap with a weird engravings. It's supposed to be comfortable, but it was not. It was super annoying to wear it for a long time, and it hurts a lot. It leaves even marks in my wrist. So I don't know, TicWatch, probably you should do some testing, like real world testing. Ask your employee to wear it for a long time and see how they feel. Undoubtedly, Android is a very customizable operating system, but for some reason Android Wear OS is not. It lacks many basic configurations, starting from the heart rate sensoring. Yes, it has the heart rate monitoring, but for some reason you cannot change the frequency of the heart rate monitoring. For that you have to install another third-party application called Cardiogram, and then you can define how frequently you want to measure the heart rate, 5 minutes up to 10 minutes. I changed it to around 10 minutes because I want to save my battery, but still it didn't help. But it would be nice if the Android Wear OS itself had this customizability for us to change the frequency. And the most important thing is the battery saver. Yes, this has a battery saver which automatically turns on when the battery reaches the 15% mark. But you cannot really customize. In Android, you can change the battery percentage which you want to enable the battery saver. But in the Wear OS, you cannot do that. And whenever it automatically turns on, you stop getting notifications and you wouldn't even know. It would have been nice if Android Wear inbuilt provided this customizability over the battery saver, just like the third-party vendors such as Fossil now introduced a new battery saver mechanism for their Gen 5 watches, which is really good. At least somebody else is doing it. If you are into activity tracking, please note that this does not support automatic activity detection like in other activity trackers. This, yes, does detect when you are walking, but running and biking, no, it does not detect that. But I still like the fact they have a lot of various activities, including badminton, tennis, swimming, and a lot of activities. I really like that, but the other side, it does not automatically detect what you are doing. Another thing I really want in a watch is the sleep tracking. In the Amazfit series, you can track your sleep, but Android Wear OS, for some reason, it does not provide the inbuilt capability of tracking your sleep. Yes, you can install a third-party app called Sleep as Android, but it takes the battery a lot. You have to install the app on the phone, and also then it would automatically install an app in the watch, but it takes the battery. It drains the battery a lot. So I ended up removing that as well. So it was one of the reasons that I stopped using the watch, because I really needed to track my sleep, because then I can see if I'm stressed or not. I'm not getting enough sleep, then I can do something about it. But this really cannot do that. So bad for TicWatch. Yeah, this is a feature-packed smartwatch. You can have Google Assistant, answer your calls and reply to them, smart replies for the messages, but it lacks the configurability of the other essential features. And also the features that I mentioned are super slow, so that's not really the point of having the watch, right? Android Wear OS is pretty new, so I hope at some point they will introduce more features and enable customizability for the existing features. Until then, I really cannot recommend you to buy any of the Android smartwatches, especially TicWatch Pro. I'm not quite sure about the other smartwatches because I haven't used any of them. This is my first Android smartwatch. I will try them and also let you know if I ever use them. But for this one, TicWatch Pro, I really cannot guarantee, I really cannot recommend this watch to you. Yes, in my previous video I said this is a good watch, but those were the first impressions, and I realized that I shouldn't really do first impressions. You only see the good stuff when you are using for the first time, and you only see the bad stuff when you are using it for a long time. You know, just like people. So I just wasted 200 plus euros on this thing, and I hope you won't do the same mistake. Do I regret buying the TicWatch Pro? Yeah, I do, but I'm happy that now I can share my experience with you, so you won't do the same mistake. That's it. If you don't like the video, you know what to do. But if you do like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification for more updates like these things or other things, many other things. See you guys in the next one.